Hey, what is up guys, this is your boy Tway here. This will be a video on the newest patch, September 22nd, and we're gonna add a lot of new things to the roster. First of all, we're gonna get a new hero, Isolet. I'll be going over her in a little bit because I think she actually might be very broken in my current roster. Another thing that will be added is a new story mode, chapter 10. Now we have the release very recently, but we get a nice fine addition with Theo, one of my mans, 100 grand way back in the day, and I'm just curious how that is gonna play out. But without further ado, let's just check what we're gonna get. So first of all, this is the new step up outfit of Isolet. Now I'm not quite sure whether this model is looking better than the original because I like the black theme that they went with it, and this star thingy kind of doesn't make sense to me. But hey, I'm probably gonna roll a 50 or what is it, 45k rubies to see how this outfit is gonna look like. We're getting a new batch of Halloween costumes, and this is Count Cain, but the bonus itself, 1% gold, doesn't do a lot to me. So from the looks of it, we get about 9 new nodes of story mode. This will keep me occupied for a little bit. Let's hope that the story mode is just as fire as it was with the previous part on Techno Claws. But you better make that one a character because that is gonna be one of my homeboys. And something nice that they will add for newer players: if you make your account after this patch, you will get another Estelle mission, which will give you a lot of great benefits to start this game out with. So in terms of leveling, getting your very first items, getting a little bit of extra rubies to start out with. Now this Estelle mission will give you just about anything that you need, an all-in-one summon ticket at the end of the day. But let's not forget about the veteran players. We get another Estelle mission, and we can get ourselves another soul stone. Now if they make this like a monthly thing, I am definitely gonna like this because you can never have enough of them. As for the things that you can get, here's a big list, just read it yourself. One of the things that I am most curious about is the Slater Trial, Protection of the God King. You guys know I like that. The Shining and Dazzling Ether, which is the purple and the red orbs, if I remember correctly, so that is pretty good. But are we getting all-in-one special summon tickets? Wait, now I am not sure if this is an all-in-one for just one or for 10, because if that would be the truth, then this thing is even more broken. Now one of the things that really does pique my interest after the TM raids got released, honestly, there's a lot of people angry, like, oh my god, the drop rates, this, that, and the third. And I said from the beginning, okay, the drop rates are ass, but then it means you actually gotta play the game. Guess what? There are people who are already full stack with TM gears, and guess what? They will make it a little bit easier by adding stamina potions buyable, and it will reset every single Monday, which is 200 potions. That's 30k stamina a week that you get extra. Now, this doesn't just translate to TM gear, but it also translates to gold in a certain sense. So, knowing that a lot of people are struggling with gold, having this around might actually be the salvation of some of these struggles. Will you still then have to farm your TM gear? Will it still take a lot of time? Yes. But guess what? We actually get to play the game a little bit more. As well as for newer players, having more stamina is always good. And now for the moment you guys have all been waiting for, at least I am. Isolet. Nice. Oh, if you guys haven't heard me say it yet, but black wavy hair, blue eyes like that, that is my kryptonite. So I'll definitely be making her, and I'll show you the reason why as well, because I think she might be good to my roster. So let's go over her kit. Now basically she has a gimmick where her S1 will trigger a certain flame ignite debuff. The moment you will hit with either S2 or S3, at that point you will then grant yourself an extra buff, which will deal extra damage and such. So let's see what it actually does. S1, physical damage, frontal enemies get the ignite. Ignite will have their heal rate reduced by 25%. Now this is screaming Galgoria, if anything, for 7 seconds. Now that doesn't seem that long, but okay. As for the second skill, frontal damage, absolute 0, 5-time hits, 3-second freeze on each hit. Now I'm not sure what that does to a stun bar, but 5 times 3? That sounds ridiculous. Dealing damage to an enemy inflicted by ignite creates explosive reaction that deals damage that ignores defense. So this is screaming World Boss 3. This is screaming any other boss in the game. This might actually be very good for Valkazar. I might, that's 3. Physical damage 20 times for 10 seconds, reducing attack of a target by 15% for 10 seconds. So assuming that the last hit will actually proc, that means this 10 second will have another 10 second after the last hit. That's what the assumption is. So that is 20 second on a 15% attack reduction. That itself is broke. So up on the ignite, skill change to Blazing Storm. Now we've seen that before. Dealing physical damage, reducing enemies heal rate by 1.5 seconds for 60 seconds each hit. This effect stacks up to 30 times. So that is a clean 45% healing rate reduction, plus 25%. But now this is screaming more Galgoria, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's another fun thing. Isolet attack speed is fixed to 1000. That means there's a certain technomagic part. That gear is gonna be massive on her. However, she is not affected by skill cooldown reduction effects. So Adi, Rahartna, technomagic gear, pocket watches, they're not working. But she recovers 1.5k mana per second. Wait. And increases her crit damage by 100. Okay, every time she uses a skill. Now we still don't know about the skill cooldowns yet, but I see that might be really good. When she creates explosive reaction, her attack is increased by 4%. This effect can be stacked up to 15 times and isn't removable. So now the thing is, will it proc once every single time, or do you need to use the skill several times over? But 15 times 4, 60% attack buff, irremovable, ridiculous. When she creates Blazing Storm, magic damage all allies take is reduced by 7%. Now this is screaming Triloflo, Galgoria, Vel'Korzar, World Boss 3. Like, I see so many options here for this. And guess what? It actually gets amplified a little bit, but we'll get over that in a little. So the soul weapon, it can be used after using skills 4 times. Now if the S1 is on a very low cooldown, you might be able to spam this thing super fast. And if you do have enough mana to spam all of your skills, that might sound interesting as well. So keep in mind, if you can spam this stuff in PvP, that actually might be even more ridiculous. Dealing damage to all enemies, locking hit targets with an irremovable special barrier. Wait, locking them. Now is that locking in terms of position, or is that locking in terms of stunning and you cannot do jack? Targets within the special barrier cannot receive positive effects. Now that is good, and they take 25% increased physical damage for 8 seconds. Now 8 seconds doesn't seem a whole lot, but afterward the skill lasts for 12 seconds and Isolet, you get 30% attack increase. On top of that, increases the duration of the special barrier by 4 seconds, so that is a 50% increase. And Isolet's damage on 8-2, non-hero damage by 35%. But that is sick. Now as for the perks, I see a few things that might pique my interest as well. Knowing that you need to use the first skill to then proc the second and the third skill. You have the duration of ignite by 5 seconds. It used to be 7, turns into 13. I cannot do math, it's 12. So that itself seems really good, but the absolute 0 increases. But honest too, each hit reduces enemy mana by 200. So wasn't it like 5 hits? That is 1 bar of mana. Ridiculous. Increases damage of explosive reaction by 60% instead of freezing enemies. Now that seems interesting if you're looking in World Boss potential, Vel'Korzar potential, and anything else. So that seems very good, especially because it is ignore defense. Wow, sick. As for the S3, changes heal rate reduction effect to 2.5%. So you can get 30 stacks, 2.5%. What? Is that what? 75% healing rate reduction, and I'm gonna show you guys a little bit later because you can get even more healing rate reduction. So she on her own might have 100% healing rate reduction on herself. What? That is sick. As to the S4, additionally increases damage dealt to non-hero enemies by 1% upon creating explosive reaction. That had a certain stack, so that's 15 times 1. So you get even more non-hero damage for no apparent reason. But Now this is a typical mage perk with a little bit of crit chance, might be good. But then that T5 Dark, when there's one enemy, increases own damage to bosses by 50%. Thank you. Oh man, and when there's 6 or more allies, increases all damage dealt to bosses excluding self by 5%. This is screaming new raids, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely ridiculous. So then the question will be, what is the unique weapon? Increases physical damage the enemy with the highest attack takes by 10%. So this is scalable to probably 25%. So that is scalable across the board. So better for Galgoria than anything else. And own damage dealt to enemies by 2% for every 10 seconds. The damage boost can be stacked up to 6 times and is irremovable. I'm assuming this will turn up to be a 5% times 6. That is 30% extra non-hero damage, which is absolutely insane because she already has some boss damage. So if I do a little bit of assumption, this girl's absolutely broke. Now for the UTs, dispels positive effects from enemies within range and additionally reduces their heal rate by 10% upon inflicting ignite. PvP, ridiculous. Then the S2 increases damage by 20%. This is scalable to 50%, and the additional damage from explosives reaction ignores the target's block effects. Now this is screaming Siegfried. And you could potentially do this for PvP as well. If you don't want to have a stun, if you wanted to do like big damage, if you want to blow up tanks, if you want to blow up Sonios, I like that. S3 reduces attack speed of enemy. Now, this doesn't seem as good anymore as it used to be. 300 for the duration and increases physical damage for 5 seconds. So takes a long time for it to hit. So the 5 seconds doesn't seem to be all that good. It will be amped up to 25% if my assumptions are correct. But that is something that we'll have to take into account. And then for the UT4, increases max number of stacks of explosive reaction by 5. What? So, what? That is even more damage! And the number of stacks of blazing store by 1, increases critical damage by 20%. So I'm assuming only the 20% is scalable, because if these other 2 are scalable, oh man, dear Lord help me, like she is gonna be the most broken character in the game. So let's see what that actually does. So 5 stacks extra onto this thing. That's a 5% extra hero damage. And another 5 stacks onto the 4%, which is another 20% attack increase. The fact that you will not take as much magical damage from this. So this is an additional 7% on top of that. So if I have to make an assumption, the UT2 is probably the best when you want to go for raw damage. However, the UT4 seems more scalable than anything. So in all fairness, Isolet seems to be like a very straightforward damaging character, if anything else. So I'm definitely liking that. Make sure to tune into my streams because I will be playing her. And if you guys have any questions, put it up in the comments. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like, sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one.